Beautiful, elegant, sumptuous, and majestic, the Artemision of Ephesus is one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, and according to some, the most beautiful of the wonders. The temple was truly impressive, and it was among the largest in Greek civilization, together with the Olympian of Acrogas, Agrigento, and the Temple of Selinunte, both in Sicily. Equipped with 127 Ionic columns, almost 18 meters high, the Artemision had 8 columns on the short side, and it had 21 on the long sides. This version of the Artemision, visible in the 3D reconstruction, is the Ionic Artemision, which was rebuilt by Alexander the Great, who financed the reconstruction as the previous Artemision was destroyed in 356 BC. The previous Artemision was destroyed by fire in 356 before Christ, the same day as Alexander the Great's birth, and even before it, there must have been another religious building of much smaller size in the area. The Doric Artemision was also an equally splendid and majestic temple, and it was destroyed by fire by a certain Erostratus, a shepherd of Ephesus, who wanted to destroy the temple by setting it on fire in order to make his name enter history. The shepherd's mad gesture was devastating the temple, but thanks to Alexander the Great, it was rebuilt, as can be seen in the reconstruction. And in 334 BC, Alexander the Great freed Ephesus from Persian rule. The temple was truly colossal, and so was its marble altar, remembered as one of the most beautiful in Greek civilization, probably second in beauty only to the altar of Pergamon. An imposing and majestic construction of large dimensions, 32 per 22 meters, decorated with sculptures of Praxiteles, Phidias, Chrysillus, and Polycletus. The sculptures represent scenes of battles and Amazons, and in the reconstruction it was hypothesized the statue of Artemis holding a chain, although probably, as we see in the coinage of the time, the chains that the Artemis of Ephesus holds in his hands were 2. The crepidoma of the temple consisted of 13 steps that exceeded 2.5 meters in height and gave a further element of majesty to the building. The first columns on both sides were decorated with sculpture friezes, and the pediment was decorated with statues alternating with windows or openings that had a decorative and structural function. Like the other colossal temples of Greek antiquity, the Artemision also had an opening in the center, coinciding with the cell inside which there was a double Ionic colonnade and an imposing statue of Artemis. The Artemision of Ephesus, in addition to being one of the most colossal temples of antiquity and one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, it was a very popular place for pilgrims from all over the Greek world who visited Ephesus and brought offerings to the goddess. Next to the building, there are stalls where statues and votive vases were sold. The place was very crowded of pilgrims at that time. The cult of Artemis in Ephesus continued also in Roman times until 262 AD, the year in which the temple was destroyed by the Goths, and with the destruction of the Goths, the glorious history of one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world practically ended. With the growing adhesion to Christianity, it was abandoned over time, and subsequently it was used as a quarry for the construction of new buildings over the centuries. It is said that the windows were also used for the apparition of Artemis to the believers who expected that the goddess will appear to them in the day of the Epiphany. Between destruction and earthquakes, almost nothing remains of the temple, but even today, this building retains intact its charm and splendor.